Hello, welcome to another painting. This painting is what started all the other paintings off. This was the first one I did in 2012. There are 12 paintings altogether, 11 definitely in my mind to paint with a specific God-given purpose. The 12th one, which I will, when I get to it, I will say which one it is the smallest one and not what I expected. You have to forgive the noises. We're in lockdown. This is Sunday, the April the 5th, 2020. And wow, what a start to this year. This is, God works in all things and his ways are not our ways. This virus is not from God, but there are spiritual forces behind every good and bad thing that goes on. It is a spiritual battle first, and it gets acted out in the flesh second. But I'll try and keep to a focus of this painting. What I'm going to do is just go around a few of the features and then come back and explain how it all began, and hopefully the painting will bless you, make you think about and live in God of the Bible, Jesus, Yeshua, as he would have been known in Israel. So I'm just going to take it off the stand and then move around. So yeah, here we go. The painting started it. A few figures. So there's Jesus walking on the water. Obviously, want to get the impression of a face because one very famous painting painted by a young girl who says she saw Jesus, a vision of Jesus. But yeah, honestly, of the moon. Remember, this was the first time I'd ever used acrylics. A very distinct backdrop on the Sea of Galilee. This escarpment is the only one of its only feature that is a very prominent feature, Sea of Galilee. Then we have the boat, the sail would be the single mast. I did a lot of research into this, and could have been they stood up actually, and some of the vessels when they rowed. Again, this was the first time I'd ever done anything like this, as big as this, using acrylics. So I'm sure there are better painters of faces, better people who can paint better than I can. But the painting is not about skill. I went with what I had, the ability that I had. I mean, I looked at it now thinking, I could redo that face and redo this, but it was a reason why I did it when I did, the timing for when I did, and why I left it the way it was. In terms of some people's faces, why I could have tweaked them and thought, no, let's just leave them as they are. And down to, for me, I suppose I'll just zoom in on the most important part of the painting for me, and that's that bit. But anyway, okay, I'll go back and explain what this painting is about. Hopefully I've not gone too far off the mark. Oh, okay. So, as I've said, began this painting whilst I was going through a divorce, just turned 50, 2012. And over the last 8 years, God has inspired me to paint pictures. They, on average, take about 3 to 4 months each, only because it's an unfolding. I have a basic idea, then it unfolds as I actually begin painting. This one, I was painting in my little one-bedroom. I started it on the bed, sketched it out. It began whilst I was with the idea of, God gave me the idea of Jesus walking on the water. I mean, why would I even want to consider painting at this point in time? I just felt so inspired to do this. And what's interesting is this painting, out of the 8 years, took 2.5 of those years to paint. I only did one painting at a time, so this took 2.5 years from beginning to end. Procrastination, I don't know, but it's interesting the timing, because anyway, other things happened that made me think there wasn't procrastination. There's always that debate you could have with whether it's procrastination or whether God is somehow just influencing you. No, just keep doing when you do it. You do it when you do it because it's the right time to do it. So as I began painting this, the first idea was I had an idea of who was going to be in the painting, obviously the 12 disciples. But what would have they been doing? This is a scene taken from, forgive me, I think it's Matthew, where it talks about Jesus walking on the water. It was rough seas. Say it was rough seas. They were in a hurry to get across to the other side of Lake Galilee, and it was a third watch, which I think would have been 3 in the morning. I think, if I'm wrong, forgive me, but it would have been night time. So I put it a full moon. This is artistic license. I put the escarpment. I wanted a distinctive feel for the place of where it was at, but I wanted a contemporary feel as well. And this also was backed up by the fact when I asked the guy I was staying with, who was renting a room from, would you mind taking, if you pose for me while I take some photos. I had an idea of what I wanted the people to be doing on the boat, because it was moving. It was rough seas. They wouldn't have been just sitting there hoping the sail filled up with wind. They were in a hurry, so they weren't all fishermen. They weren't all fishermen. Well, that Judas wasn't a fisherman. I think he just kept the treasury. There was a tax collector. You know, they weren't all fishermen. So, and they couldn't have been all working at the same time, because 2 rowed, as I said, they would have rowed standing up, possibly, and maybe some manning the wind with the sails, because it was rough sea, so it had been very windy. So I got him to pose in different positions that I thought, this is what I want them doing. Some people working, perhaps a person's looking to see what's going on out there. 2 people rowing and also maybe looking, 1 person thinking, another couple just sitting down doing nothing, maybe 1 person throwing up. And then obviously Peter in the water, and then a couple, maybe 1 person trying to stop him, another person trying to stop that person stopping him. The reason why those poses came to mind, because I just wanted to bring to life what would have been going on that boat. Often we just remove the reality from scripture and we don't put it back in what was going on around. That leaves it so dry and relateless. So here then I'm trying to put flesh on what was going on in an absolutely surreal, one miraculous situation. I start painting and I'm doing this, and when I was taking photos of the guy posing for me, he had a red t-shirt, and when I put them on the computer, because obviously I took photos and put them on a computer, I cut the pose, I shrunk them to roughly what size I thought they might be in terms of perspective, and printed them off and cut them out, then arranged them on my canvas so I had an idea where I wanted them to be, and then just basically painted in. This is the first time actually I'd ever drawn without drawing it out first. Every bit of this painting was painted out. I didn't sketch. What is it? No, forgive me. I sketched the boat. I wanted to get that right. Then I painted in everything else. It's the first time I'd ever done that. I'd always relied on, wanted a sketch. I needed something to work from, which sort of freed me up. So I'm thinking I've got to relax with the idea of making mistakes and just painting over it, because I have a short attention span when it comes to painting. I like to just crack on and get it done. That was always a miracle for me to stick with one idea for 2.5 years. And so I painted it out over time. So the red t-shirt was like great, a level playing field. It brings it a contemporary feel, a bit of a team effort in one sense, like you see today on the round the world yacht races. They're all inside the same t-shirts or whatever they're wearing, like kind of uniform to show unity. And to a certain degree, whether you know God or not, there's a unity whichever camp you're in. We all want to feel like we belong in that camp. Now obviously, having been in the godless camp, I know which camp I'm glad I'm in now. That's because I made a decision to ask Jesus into my life. But that aside for now, okay, looking at the painting, I started to paint, and it evolved over 2.5 years. People would see the painting and they sort of pass comment. For example, a friend of my wife's saw the 2 people sitting on the left-hand side, sitting down, and said, oh, they look a bit ghostly, because I was trying to grapple with people's faces. It's not one of my best points of painting. I thought, trying to make them look real, because I'm a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to painting. I like things to look real. So I was doing this the best I can. And when she said look a bit ghostly, I thought, do you know what, I'm going to leave it like that then, because if that's what she sees, that's what matters to me about when people look at a painting. They see something really strong that draws them in. They instantly see things. So I like that openness, and I wanted that. I want to draw people into the painting so they see things for themselves as well. And I thought, yeah, that's great, because when you sit down and do nothing, you waste away. There's a practical example. No matter what you do, if you sit down and do nothing, you waste away. So that was great. I left those, and then the others I just developed and the features. And I thought, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I could have tweaked and 2.5 years, but I thought no. So over the 2.5 years, yeah, I kept painting here, there, and everywhere. I might not touch it for 2 months maybe, and then I'd go back and paint a bit more. And then it must have been, I don't know, maybe a year into it, close to a year, my daughter came in and said, oh, I've got this really, really good song that I think would suit the painting. So I started to play the song, and it was called Oceans. And what I'm going to do at the end of this is just keep the picture on and play the music, which is the humming in the background, which is my PC, and play the music with the song if you want to do it so it sounds a little bit more better sound quality wise. When I start it, just pause the picture and then get the song Oceans by Hillsong, and play that through your computer, and then I pray, see what God does. So every time I played this song, because it was like, this song is perfect for this picture, every time I sat down and painted, I put the song on. I could be there 3-4 hours painting, and the song would just complete. I just put it on repeat, it would play over, and it's almost as if the song helped me paint the picture. For example, there is a gap, obviously, where Peter would have sat. I didn't plan that, and actually forgot there would have been a place where Peter sat. So that alone tells me it wasn't me just painting the picture. That, and somebody thought, oh, it's an unconscious thing. It really wasn't, because I was looking at what I was doing, and then I realised, oh yeah, of course, there has to be a gap because Peter would have sat somewhere. But that was not in my thinking or planning of the painting at all. I just thought I'll put Peter in the water, and that was it. One of the last things I painted was the big wave in front of Peter, because the moment you step out in faith, the moment you leave the boat and you step out, whatever that is actually, whether God calls you or you do something which is contrary to what everyone else is doing, okay, what's going to happen? Something's going to come at you. Now, if it turns, whatever it is actually, there are two forces on this planet. There's the ultimate power of the one true living God of the Bible. And then there is, because of Lord, your free will in creating creation, a rebellious force governed by Satan, a demonic force which is set against everybody, especially those who worship Jesus. And actually, if you don't know him, then you're actually open to those demonic forces more than, well, you are protected under Christ. There's no protection outside of Christ in terms of that. You can just be influenced by all and sundry, especially demonic forces. But that's the spiritual side of things. I digress. Well, I don't, because you can't get away from the spiritual. The spiritual is ingrained in everything we do. That is the root of everything we do, has a spiritual root first and then a fleshly outworking second. So Peter's in the water, and then little bits started to stick out for me, like the hand from the guy reaching out to Peter as if trying to say, hold on, what you're doing. Because the boat was moving. It was rough seas. He got out of a moving boat in rough seas. I don't know even if you were just going to jump out into the water, that would be a pretty tricky thing to do of a moving boat. So he gets out, and I can imagine, well, I'm sure everybody would have said, oh, great, go for it, Pete, nice one. As he gets into the water, I don't think so. I'm sure maybe someone would have said, what are you doing? Maybe not everybody saw Jesus walking on the water because they were moving. Some people would have been rowing, maybe as I put there, manning the sail. So I wanted to try and put in a situation, whether you know God or not, on that boat, or in the picture, who would you say you are, or who would you like to be? And that's what helped paint the picture. So the guy trying to stop Peter, I put the hand out when I made a mistake, and then I painted it again, but realised, I need to paint a bit more to cover the previous hand. And I realised, that looks like his hand's moving forward. So I left that in as like a movement kind of thing. And the gap between his hand and Peter's hand is saying, wait, don't touch me, leave me alone. That's what I want to get across. Because when you step out in faith, it's often people close to us will try and stop that if they don't have the same kind of faith that says, yeah, you go for it. Often it's like people saying, what do you think you're doing? Are you sure about that? And only the person themselves can say, I'm doing this. And, whether it's right or wrong, that's a risk. Faith is, as often people say, spelled R-I-S-K, risk. Because you're always often going to go against what other people want you to do, which is play it safe. So here's a guy trying to stop him. And that gap between the guy trying to stop Peter is, for me, that's what that represents in this picture. That's the faith aspect. Peter's saying, leave me alone, I'm doing this. Okay, so back of people in the boat, one guy throwing up, a couple of guys working. So the whole point then, I wanted to bring a reality of people in that miraculous situation. How many of us, let's say, you're in a situation where you're seeing something miraculous, and maybe you're busy working, so it's like, yeah, whatever, and you're just busy working away. Maybe for some you're working, but you're still curious, so you're looking as well. You get those who spot it. Hey, so what's going on over there? You get some who are just so engrossed in their own thoughts, they're not even in the boat. They're just not there, like the guy in the front, just sitting down in his thoughts. A couple that are just sitting there, just watching, doing nothing. Just don't know what to do. That actually is the worst place you can be, seeing things happen and doing nothing. At least everyone else is doing something. Whether you're throwing up, you're doing something. The guy sitting thinking, he's doing something. But if you're doing nothing and you're seeing stuff happen, that's worse, because that's what's going to eat you more, thinking, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. You waste away. And then you've got the person stopping Peter, and then the person trying to stop him, because obviously he's concerned, where are you going? You're going to jump into the water as well. So I just wanted people to then, I wanted it to be a discussion, in terms of looking at this painting. But it's like, who would you like to be? I mean, there's only one Yeshua, there's only one God, and yet Jesus was 100% man, 100% God, to do what he did. I mean, what's interesting is, I think there was a time when somebody walked on water, some magician or whatever. Let's make it very clear, the Bible clearly states there will be demonic forces that will do amazing miracles. Yeah. And I will say it, some of those magicians are tapping into forces, either they do know what they're tapping into and it is not God, or they don't. But, you just got to see by their fruits how they behave, their manner, whether it's a God, it's the spirit that comes off them is a loving and kind and gracious spirit. But anyway, but that's not for me to judge them. I'm just saying the spirit that's driving some people to do some of these amazing things, when you look at them, but then you look behind, where's that coming from? What spirit are they tapping into? Okay, but Jesus did things that no man could do, but we are doing now, because when Jesus left, he said, you will do greater things than I did. And thinking, wow, well, that's pretty awesome then, because that's the power that the Holy Spirit gives you when you come to know Jesus. And that's the power we release. That's the Holy Spirit we can release into situations, healing, raising the dead, casting out demons. It is there. It's all about the language you choose to use in terms of looking at a situation and what it is. Okay, so I'm going off on one, but that is me. So I said to my wife, I'm just going to talk it as it comes out. So if it's 5 minutes or 25 minutes, so be it. So that's a painting. A simple question, who would you say you are in that painting? Whether you know God or whether you don't, we are all in one of those situations. We're just cracking on with work, we're a workaholic, or a thinker, or we do nothing. Or maybe we're stopping people trying to do something really great. Or maybe we just, we're a bit of a carer, like the guy who's stopping the guy trying to stop Peter. That's all a caring thing. Wait, what do you think you're doing? But how many times are we missing something supernatural? We're missing something amazing because we're too busy focused on other people and not on the miracle that's going on. And the biggest miracle that's going on is when somebody's life gets changed by Jesus. And here's I find it absolutely humorous, but this is how crazy it is. In the Bible, on a Saturday, which is true Sabbath, on a Saturday, Jesus went into a synagogue and miraculously healed in front of everybody a man's shriveled hand. No human being on this planet can do that. No doctor can do that. They can do all the things. No, what Jesus did, he told the guy, hold out your hand. The moment he held out his hand, it was perfect again. Okay, that is an absolute miracle. The first thing that happened after that, the Pharisee says, oh gosh, you see that? Okay, enough, we need to kill him. I just find I find it funny. But that's the attitude of the world. When God takes over and does something, it's that other people just get angry. And those who are getting angry, I would say, why? Just the Pharisees. It's like, how can you be angry when a guy has just been healed? It's nothing to do with what time it was or what day it was. A miracle has just happened in front of you and you don't want to see it. That's what's happening today more than ever. But that won't stop God changing people's lives. So I'm going to stop now. What I'm going to do is play the music to this song. I think it's about 4, nearly 5 minutes. Obviously you can turn it off anytime you like. But before I do that, I just want to pray over this painting that it will bless you. That through this painting you may just think a little bit more about the true living God of the Bible. My prayer again is that the Bibles will completely sell out over this year from every shop in this country, on these lands. England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, that the Bibles will just sell out and the most popular downloaded app will be the Bible app. That is my prayer over this year. So I pray that this painting will speak to you and that will just encourage you, even in your faith. It doesn't matter who we are on that boat. Jesus is still walking on the water towards us. Jesus will always say, come, no matter what we're doing on the boat. It doesn't stop Jesus walking on the water towards. Don't forget, Jesus was walking towards them. Okay, so, I'll stop there. I think I've said enough. I will now play the song.